habitat of a diversity of flora and fauna, our source of water for drinking, irrigation, household consumption, electricity, enjoyment, and recreation. An umbrella protecting us from heavy rains and storms. A repository of our rich culture, nurtured and passed on by our forefathers. The Upper Agno River Watershed Reservation is part of the largest river system in the country. It covers the municipalities of Bocod, Bugyas, Cabayan, parts of Atok, Bacon, Itogon, Kibungan, La Trinidad, and Tublay in Benguet, portions of Tinok, Ifugao, Bauco Mountain Province, and Cayapan, Nueva Vizcaya are also part of the watershed. A big portion of the Upper Agno River Watershed is an important part of the ancestral domain to the Kangkanai, Ibaloy, Ikarao, and Kalanguya Bukod, Kalanguya Ikalaan, Tuwali, and Ayangan tribes in the area. The watershed also serves as a source of power for hydroelectric plants in Binga, Ambuklao, and eventually the San Roque Power Plant in Pangasinan. Aside from the various indigenous communities, the watershed is also home to 481 plant species, including endemic plants with medicinal values. Some 128 animal species with 36 bird species roam the area of the watershed reservation. Despite the importance of the Upper Agno River Watershed Reservation to both human and wildlife communities, threats continue to affect the integrity of the watershed reservation. Land conversion to high-value crop farming and settlement has been a persisting problem in nearby communities. Forest cover continued to decrease due to cutting of trees to give way to more profitable value crop farming. The thinning of forests can also be attributed to fuel wood gathering, illegal grazing, and high incidence of forest and grass fires. Illegal mining, earth movement, and road constructions, on the other hand, have caused sedimentation and eventually degradation of rivers and reservoirs within the watershed. With the many communities and organizations involved in the watershed reservation, the conflicting interests of these stakeholders have also affected the protection of the Upper Agno River Watershed Reservation. As our source of life and our cultural heritage, it is our responsibility to protect and conserve the Upper Agno River Watershed. Conserving water, using organic or slow-release fertilizers, learning to reduce, reuse, and recycle, continuing our indigenous watershed protection practices, trying agroforestry, which is a combination of planting fruit-bearing trees and forest trees on open areas, and supporting watershed protection and conservation efforts like reforestation, establishment of fuel breaks, and promotion of ecotourism are some of the small ways we can contribute to the large cause of protecting and conserving the Upper Agno River Watershed.
In behalf of NAPOCOR, particularly the Upper Agno Watershed Area Team, we are appealing to the public, the community, the stakeholders to help us out and become more aware of the significance of protecting our environment, because after all, this is the only place that we live. This is the only place where our children, our grandchildren will have to contend with. And we want to ensure that the kind of beautiful environment that we enjoy now will be preserved and will be experienced by our generations to come.
Together with the Upper Agno River Watershed Area Team, mandated to conduct watershed protection, everyone, including you, has a role in protecting and conserving the Upper Agno River Watershed. our treasure, our gift to the generations to come. Let us protect our watershed. Let us shelter lives.